Section 4 begins with Unit 15, Length Measuring Instruments. Probably the most important skill a machinist can possess is the ability to quickly and accurately measure the parts they are machining with their various measuring instruments. In this unit, we'll be covering the scale, the micrometer, and the vernier caliper. We'll begin with the scale. Scales come in various lengths, widths, thicknesses, a multitude of graduations as well. 1/8, 16ths, 32nds, 64ths, tenths of an inch, 100ths of an inch, 50ths of an inch, and also in metric, so in millimeters and centimeters. So in this particular one, so it's important to be able to recognize what graduations you're looking at. This one is fairly obvious. It's marked clearly 32nd, 1/64th, right here. So the top graduations, each individual mark is 1/32nd in length. On the bottom half of the scale, each individual mark is 1/64th. On the scale just below, see the top scale is in 16ths, clearly denoted here. The bottom scale is in 1/8ths. So this mark here, you see, you can look at it and say, okay, that is 1/16th less than 1 inch, so it's 15/16ths. And this one, you can see that it's immediately it's 4 inches because it's past the 4 but not to the 5. And even though it's measuring in eighths, you'll notice that it also has a longer one. This one, this middle mark denoting 1/2. This one, each quarter mark is a little bit longer. And notice each mark between the quarters, the 1/8 mark. So each one of those longer graduations is equal to 1/8. And then finally the smaller ones, 1/16th. So on this side you can see that you're past your half mark, your 3/4, 3/4. So 3, 4, and 3/4. These graduations are placed there to aid you in measuring, so you can quickly and accurately look at this. So down on this next one, we'll get this one completely out of the way so we're not confused with what we're writing. And we can see that this mark right here, we're past the 8, so you know that this mark is going to be 8. We're past the half-inch mark. We're not quite to the 5/8 mark. So 40/64ths would be 5/8. You're 1 mark behind, so 8 and 39/64ths. This next mark, we're once again at the 8 mark. We're past half-inch, past the 3/4 inch, and 3/4 is 48/64ths. And you see you have 3 more, so you have 49, 50, 51/64ths. So 8 and 51/64ths. Finally, the last 64th mark on here, we're at 9 inches now. So this one is 9, and you can see that we're past the quarter mark to another eighth mark right here. So it's 9 3/8. So just because you have a scale that measures in 30 seconds, you do not have to write that in 30 seconds. I've seen that done, and it can be very confusing. Yes, you can get very close with your 39/64. So your 64ths can get you very close, but if it is in fact at the eighth or a quarter or half-inch mark, that's what you will write. Now this next one just below, we'll get this one up out of the way. It measures in 50ths of an inch, so 1/50th of an inch, and 1/100th of an inch. So 1/100th of an inch is equal to 10 thousandths. 1/50th of an inch is equal to 20 thousandths. So this first mark here, you can see, is at the longer graduation, and you'll notice that each one of the longer ones is numbered 1 through 9, and then of course 10 is 1 inch. So this would actually be 100 thousandths. You could write 10 100ths, but why would you? This next one, see, it's past the 5 mark, so it's 0.5, and then you have, looks like it's on the second mark, so 2/50ths is equal to 40 thousandths, so we would say that's 0.540. This bottom line, you can see, once again, you have your numbers to know this is every 100 thousandth, so it's past the 7, and although I can't quite make it out, I'm going to say that that is 0.750, and this last one 1.10, so 1 100 thousandths. Then the last one that we're going to look at is a metric scale. Well, there's another English scale, but we won't bother with that one. We've done enough. A metric scale, this is only measuring in millimeters. Sometimes you'll have, like the English ones, you'll have larger graduations that might be in centimeters. So with this one, the nice thing about metrics is you notice that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your fifth one is a longer one, and 1, 1.5, and 2. So with each graduation being 1 millimeter, you can see that you have, this is 10, so 15, 16 millimeters. There's the first one, so 16 millimeters. The second one, 20, 1, 2, so 22 millimeters. The third one is right at the 3, so 30 millimeters. And last, because it's between the 3 and the 4 with the longer mark, 35 millimeters. So scales are probably the simplest and probably the oldest form of measurement.